Hello, Katherine. Welcome to me commenting on your life. Alright, so your teacher, he said, before I strangle you? That's a little bit oppressive. I feel like if someone said that at Rockford, that teacher would be, like, fired immediately. It's like, that's not a good thing to say. Although I suppose if it's, like, an annoying kid, I doubt anyone would say anything, though, because, like, yeah. That's like, yeah, because it's like a teacher swearing. I think it's so funny when teachers swear. I think it's hilarious. Like, my Mr. Crane, my, AP history teacher, he swears, like, once a trimester, and when he does, it's hilarious. And then my Mr. Marker swears all the time. I hate him, though, so. Oh, and then you're self-conscious about me taking pictures of you because I'm creepy. I take pictures of everyone at all times. So, don't be insecure, girl. Own that ponytail. Work that updo. You know what that's from, right? Yeah, because your friend said that in one of her videos. The cyborg girl. Yeah. I'll stop. It was just, you just had like a lot of very interesting expressions in that video, and I just enjoyed them, and I needed to share them and create art out of them, which I did. And I like your expressive face, though. It's beautiful. You and Andrew Reynolds. And me. I have an expressive face. If you didn't know. It's true. But whenever someone mentions Mormons, like last year in my AP US history class, last try, I had a bunch of friends, and like these are the people that I told like the entire history of the Mormon religion because I knew it all because of All American Prophet, like Moroni. I was like, I know who that is. Like I knew everything that was going on, and I told them before Mr. Crane taught it, and I was like, yeah. And every time he would mention like the word Mormons, they would like freak out and like tap my shoulder and like. It's like, yeah, I would freak out too, though, because that was, like, right when I discovered and was at, like, I don't want to say a peak, but very high in my, like, listening to Book of Mormon every single day, probably more than once. I know I don't do that anymore, because I would, like, be sick of it by now, but, yeah, that happened at once. And then, but then today, in my English class, we were talking about Lord of the Flies and how one of the characters represents Jesus, or God. Jesus. I'm sorry, I know nothing about religion. But he represents Jesus, and, we were talking about, like, he read this excerpt from this guy who wrote this book about, like, how to read like a college professor. And one chapter was about how you recognize characters that are supposed to be like Jesus. And, oh look, I'm like you. My hair's sticking out of my ear's sticking out of my hair. Katherine. Look at, oh, and my earring. How cute. But, and he was talking about how, Jesus, about how he knew he had to die, and he like just went through it or whatever, and then I was like, man up, he had to man up, and I turned to Molly and I was like, what did Jesus do when they sentenced him to die? Did he try to run away? Did he just break down and cry? Jesus, da-da-da. When faced with his own death, Jesus knew that he had to man up. He had to man up, etc. Because I could keep going for the whole song. But I started saying that to Molly, and I was like, yeah. And she knew some of it. Like, I think she, like, looked it up because she knows how much I love it, and I sent her Spooky Mormon Hell Dream once because I knew she would love that song, because everyone loves that song. It's my favorite. Yeah, so that was quite magical. Oh, and speaking of earrings, your Matryoshka earrings, I like them, but they freak me out. Like it's they freak me out. I don't these are like the earrings that I wear. Like that's it. I feel like they're gonna like someone's gonna pull them and they will rip your ear apart, or like have you seen the people though with the long that you wear the really heavy earrings all the time and they have slits and it's like oh my goodness. And then it reminds me of gauges. Gauges freak me out. I don't know why anyone would want those ever. My stepbrother has some, and I'm like, please stop. Although the big ones, I kind of want to like poke my finger through, but I feel like that would be bad. It's just I don't understand why people do that. I don't find that aesthetically beautiful. That's just me. Oh, what's your festival time? I am at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So tell me what your time is, because I'll come see you if I can. Because my mom will probably be driving me, and so she might not like want to come early and just like sit there for like forever. So 1 o'clock is my time. And that movie, what was that? That movie about the moon? What? Why did you? I don't understand. Was it an infomercial or just a movie? And in the end, were they on the moon? Did he take a rocket to the moon? That was confusing. Like, I understand the plot. And how he was like, oh, you're a midget, and you used to jump out of a cannon. And you're not awesome anymore, and such. But were they on the moon? How did he bring the house there? That is illogical. Was it I thought you were talking about infomercials, though. That wasn't an infomercial, right? Because that'd be the worst infomercial ever. And what you keep changing your mind about sixth graders? Because at first you were like, oh my goodness, sixth graders, and then you were like, oh my goodness, sixth graders, they're so cute, and then you're like, I have to play with sixth graders. Like what is your feeling about sixth graders? I don't. Oh, and then my baby picture, we did a thing today, and he put all the pictures of the class people on the board, and like you had to go up and try to guess who was who, and everyone knew who I was because I look the same. Because I had my green eyes, my tan skin, my little chubby cheeks, and my brown hair, and it was like, that's Elena Rarig. Like everyone knew right away. Whatever. Someone thought I was a guy though, because I had a green blanket. I was like, really? There's a pink blanket underneath it, and there's a pink pillow. But then he ended up figuring out it was me, so I think he just like took a glance at it and was like, oh boy, but no. And then you have to do the rubber band stretches. Guess what? That is better than running. Anything is better than running. Anything. I hate running so much. So much. I hate running. It's so pointless. And it's like, why? Why do I do stretches are fine. I'm okay with stretches. Like, yeah, I'll stretch. But just don't make me run. I can run like once around a track, and then I'm done. I don't even like doing that. But you're cold in the choir. Our choir room is like really warm. That's like the warmest room in our whole school. But my science room is cold. Like it's free. Like people put their coats on to go in it. But people wear their coats all around our school. But last year for our choir room, the air conditioning or the heating, it wasn't working in the choir room, and we were like on the end of the school, and so we had no heat, and it was freezing cold, like dying. And so we had Snuggie days, and everyone wore their Snuggies, and it was so cool. I had my cheetah Snuggie, and I'm the queen of Snuggies, if you were previously unaware. I just look fantastic in a Snuggie. I mean, I just do. That's a fact of life. So, yeah. Have you ever seen me in a Snuggie? Yeah, you have. You have. But, yeah, I'm the queen of Snuggies. So, yeah. And then you had to ride the bus. Ha! I don't have to ride the bus. I get to drive myself home. And then, but I still have to walk, because the walk from the high school to, like, the parking lot, it's, like, a quarter of a mile, maybe? I don't know. That's a complete estimate. It's probably not that far. Not even a little bit, but, like, it's, like, probably 2 football fields of a distance. So that's, like, a quarter mile, right? Yeah. So that'd be, like, 200 yards. 2 football fields, probably. And the sidewalk sometimes is, like, ridiculously icy. And I'm, like, and there are people walking behind me, and I'm, like, trying to walk slowly so I don't, like, kill myself. But then they, like, try to be fast, and I'm like, no. So, yeah, and then it's just, like, awkward. And I'm like, I don't want to slip and fall. And then just, like, be falling on the floor and laughing at myself, and people think I'm crazy. So, yeah. And then Interlaken doesn't, like, I thought, like, I think everyone gets in. Like, not everyone, but I think, like, because I've, like, talked to the people there, and, like, yeah, usually, like, everyone gets in. But you said if you didn't get into SRT and you didn't get into Interlaken? Who didn't go to Interlaken last year? Who didn't get into SRT last year? Who had an eventful summer last year despite those 2 things? Rude. Also, you can work on my summer reading list that I'm going to give to you, because that's fun. Fun times. And there's also the internet, and there's also TAing, which TAing can do a lot of TAing. And I also played tennis, and I also took voice lessons. So, rude. Rude. And we have deer in Rockford all the time. Like, all the time. People still are like, oh my goodness, it's a deer. And I'm like, yeah, I see them all the time. I don't think they're that big of a deal. I never see them by a house, though. That doesn't happen. So that was rare. But, like, on the road, people are always like, oh my goodness, it's a deer. And I'm like, okay. And also, my second sopranomist, like, I was on my voice lesson today, and she was like, yeah, you're definitely becoming a second soprano. And I was like, like, alto 1. Like, why? Because apparently I have, like, my higher notes are, like, strong. So I can understand. I'm an alto. I bleed alto. We even have this saying. And it's, I am woman, hear me roar. Or smash. If you're Umbridge, we go, I am alto, hear me sing. And I originated that. And to just go away from that would just be unright. No, that's not a word. I don't even care. I'm leaving you with that non-word. Alright. So now reflect upon how much of an alto I am. And also find out when your solo ensemble time is. Because I'll go. I'll see you. If I can. Alright. And reflect.